Welcome back into the Sean podcast. Oh, it's that time again. Mock draft time, people. Hope you're ready, because you're going to buckle up. Adjust your seats to their upright position. It's going to be a wild ride. Cat Daddy, what's on your mind?
You know, we just came off this Thanksgiving holiday. We have this Christmas season ahead, so let me ask you a question. At what point do you put your Christmas tree up? Do you put it up before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, before Halloween? When do you start putting Christmas decorations up?
Now, if you ask me, it shouldn't go up till after Thanksgiving. If you live in my household, it went up. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
We're not getting into that.
I mean, we
causing no civil wars.
Right. We could sit here and we can debate when is the best time or when is the right time to put those Christmas decorations up. But one thing you can't debate is, when are you ready to have a mock draft?
Oh, any time of the week.
It's never
son.
too early. Never too early.
Not in just the state. It ain't Christmas time till I see Hans Gruber fall off the 40 whatever floor of Nakatomi Plaza. Just saying.
So you are saying that Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
Darn right. But getting into this mock draft, we're going to jump right in, people. I have the odds, and we're just going to be out right there with you. We base on who picks what on where our teams are. There's no, that's the rhyme and reason. We're not trading off on odds and evens. No, we want to pick for our teams. So right now, Green Bay is 30th and the Dallas Cowboys are 25th. So I got the odds, which means I got the first overall pick. And with the first overall pick, I've got the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions thought about real long and hard. And we just going to get wild and crazy. You want to get nuts?
Let's
get nuts. And Detroit keeps Aiden Hutchinson at home in the state of Michigan.
Yes.
That is edge out of Michigan.
The Hutchinson hype train is in full effect. In full disclosure, if I had the number one draft pick, I was going to choose Aiden Hutchinson. So he is going number one regardless.
If I put you in a spot now, I'm sorry, I don't know any way that Houston can take a quarterback with Kayvon Thibodeau on the board. It's just, that's nonsense.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor's in a one-year contract. They could resign him. Should they consider drafting a quarterback? Yes, but if I'm the GM, I don't feel good about the talent of this class. Even my boy Matt Corral to draft him at number 2. So even with that factored in, if you had taken Kayvon Thibodeau at number 1, I was taking Aiden Hutchinson number 2. Since Aiden Hutchinson's taking number 1,
you're taking Kayvon Thibodeau at number
2. Houston cannot pass on one of the top prospects overall for this draft. They cannot pass on that falling to him.
And considering the positional value here, it's I mean, here's the thing. We talked before Aiden Hutchinson became as can't miss as he is. We're like, okay, these DBs, quarterback, okay, maybe now we'll bump a quarterback up. We can't. Not over Thibodeau.
No. So what I'm doing as a Houston general manager is I'm taking that Cleveland Brown approach when they took Myles Garrett number 1 that year. You know,
right.
Get a better prospect, wait for the quarterback. Because if I'm Houston, I'm waiting for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud that next year.
And you could always You could always trade for Teddy Bridgewater. That's what everybody else does. And not just Bryce Young. Yeah, you said Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. And some of the other guys might, bounce back or step up. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sean's taking Thibodeau. There we go. Now I got the Jags up. Guess what? I'm going to throw you through a loop. There's another big riser. And then with the Jags, here's the thing. You have a young quarterback here. Your offensive line has been shaky at best. You are going to get a fixture in your offensive line, hopefully for years to come. But it's not the one that Sean would normally think. It is one of the big risers in this draft. I'm going to go with Ikem Ikwamu out of North Carolina State to play tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I had him going in the next couple of picks. I'll give you that. He was in past number 6. So, wow. Okay,
New York Jets are up, Sean.
Man, you are throwing me for a loop today.
Told you. I told you.
All
Let's
right.
get wild and crazy.
Woo. Okay. So what I like about these next 6 picks is that 2 belong to the Jets, then 2 belong to the Giants,
And then 2
belong to the Eagles. So with the first pick for the Jets, number 4, we're thinking this could be Marcus May's last.
Who's this pick from?
This
It's
Seattle,
pick
right?
from the Jacks via Seattle. It's due to the
Jamal Adams
trade.
Yeah. So Marcus May, this is his final season in New York. The offensive line still needs quite a bit of help. Now, we haven't seen this guy since the USC game when he injured his knee. But one thing is for sure, he is just built differently. And every team, whether they have a need for it or not, should be looking at this guy. I'm going Notre Dame safety, Kyle Hamilton. Boring. I know. You're giving all the spicy picks. I'm going boring.
Well, I got the New York Jets up also. This is the New York Jets' actual pick. And, like you said earlier, they had need in secondary, but they also had an offensive line need. They also have a young quarterback. So I'm going to take offensive tackle from Alabama, Evan Neal. I think this helps solidify things. Hopefully Beckham can come back and they can bookend whatever. Maybe Beckham moves to the right side.
Evan Neal. Have Evan Neal go to the right side.
All right. Evan Neal. Regardless, those 2 monsters in that offensive line. And I mean, with those weapons, I'm just saying they would help. The Jets would be a different team.
Absolutely.
Right. On towards the Giants.
Man.
Taking, Sean. I know you went Neal for the Giants. Sorry.
I had a fondue going to the Giants. So, yeah, man. Yikes. If I'm Dave Gettleman, I feel like I've been got again. Everybody keeps taking my people from me. But guess what? It's not going to be Dave Gettleman making that pick next year. So we're going to have a different philosophy, but we still need help on the defensive side of the ball.
I think I know where you're going.
Oh, I'm not sure if you do.
I'm pretty sure I do.
You do. All right, then who do you think I got?
No. I can't ruin it for the
Yeah,
people.
right. Okay.
I do think he's an edge.
Well, that's right. Well, that is correct. So, as much as I want to sit there and think about Derek Stingley, top cornerback on the board, we need help on the edge. We need. And I'm going with one of the strongest guys in this class, Purdue edge, George Karlaftis.
George Karlaftis. That's exactly who I thought you were going. Now, New York is kind of going to help out Philly because New York is just going to go with, their board and what their needs are and the top player on their board, which is also a need. They do like their tackle, so they're not going tackle, but they do need offensive line help.
Mm-hmm.
And offensive linemen who could play up and down the line. From Texas A&M, Kenyon Green is still available, and he's going to be a New York Giant.
Nice pick. All right, so New York solidified both sides of the line with those picks. Now it's up
Philly's
to
up. Oh, and that pick was New York via the Chicago Bears.
All right, number 8, Philadelphia. Ooh, let's take a look. No, Philadelphia. Howie Roseman's like, oh man, things are just falling apart for me. I had a plan, but now all my people are getting taken.
And Miami keeps winning games. What's wrong with them?
I know. So we're thinking, and both safeties are scheduled to hit free agency, so having someone like Kyle Hamilton fall to him would be great. But
it would have been nice.
But you keep winning too many ball games. You may want to start losing if you want Kyle Hamilton. And there's no other safety to take at this point. Let's see. We have a need at linebacker, but I don't think there's a linebacker worthy of taking this high. And it's going to sound counterproductive. We just locked up Avonte Maddox to an extension, but we got to do everything we can to protect that secondary because the offense isn't who we play. We played Dallas. We got a Washington team that may throw the ball around. That New York team can throw the ball around. And Derek Stingley is just way too talented to go any further. So we're going to stop the slide. And we're going to go Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU.
Next up, again, it's Philly via Miami. I got 2 spots I'm looking at. The defensive line is getting kind of long in the tooth. Belcher Cox is still good, but he's getting very old. Javon Hargrave had a great season so far, but he is also not a spring chicken. But the wide receiver core is not great. I mean, they've got Devonta Smith, who has played very well, but he's not getting the most help. I mean, I know they re-signed Dallas Goedert, but a very Philly move would be to take to make a strength, keep making a strength a strength. So DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle, Texas A&M, going straight to Philly.
Man, as a Cowboy fan, I bet you like making that pick. Just so you don't give them another wide receiver to use.
Hey. Now, my big question is for you, Sean. You got Carolina out.
I do. I do.
I'm just wondering, is somebody staying home in the state of Carolina? I'm just wondering, are they going to go a different direction? Or is someone staying home in the state of Carolina? Because I think I know what you're going to pick. It's just which one are you going to pick?
You already know the answer to both of those. Carolina has no long-term or short-term option at quarterback.
Now the question is, which one? Somebody staying home?
I know.
Or you going a different direction?
If I'm the GM, I know the fans are saying, get Sam Howell. Get Sam Howell. He's right in our backyard. Get Sam Howell.
That they are.
But if I'm the GM, I'm saying, hey,
Corral.
I got to go with my number one quarterback. And my number one quarterback for a long time has been Matt Corral. Lock him up.
Matt Corral is in. Now I have the Atlanta Falcons.
Finally, your chance. Correct their mistakes.
I can't. Matt Ryan's already locked up. And there's another mistake that's already been made here. They traded Julio Jones, so I gotta make one of three different decisions. Their defensive line is grossly bad, and they got a guy here who's available that they could keep at home, straight up in the state of Georgia there. But then there's a top tier wide receiver available. But then again, that quarterback position is a premium, and they've got no future at quarterback. I'm gonna look at this, and I'm gonna say Atlanta needs more weapons, and Chris Olave is gonna come off the board.
All right, you gotta love his route running. You gotta love his speed, and Atlanta needs another weapon. Man, you're risking it. I thought you were gonna take Sam Howell, let him sit on the bench.
And then there's Jordan Davis. All right, now in Minnesota, how you feel? Which way you want to go here? I know where Mike Zimmer would go, and there's a guy very high on the board for where he would go.
Danielle Hunter getting his way out of town. But I think we also have several defensive backs who are getting ready to see that free agent money.
And some are kind of old, like Patrick Peterson.
Yeah. So it really comes down to, what do I like more at this position? Do I like the edge, or do I like my cornerback? And this is a tough one. I'm deciding between two people from the state of Florida. And I'm going to go cornerback, Kyer Elam.
I knew that's where you were going to go.
From Florida.
All right, now I got the Saints on the board. And Saints are going to be stupid this year. If they're picking this high, they're taking them. Sam Howell, quarterback, North Carolina. Boom.
Boom.
Enough said.
Ooh, is that with or without retaining Jameis Winston?
That is without.
Okay.
They're gonna move off from Jameis, save that money, try to get a wide receiver in, because it was the choice between getting quarterback or wide receiver. Wide receiver's a bigger investment. Quarterback's a bigger investment. That's the route they're going. It was either Sam Howell or Garrett Wilson.
You know what the ironic thing is? Sam Howell's been playing with reduced talent this year.
Right, and he's going to be going to a team with reduced talent. I mean, maybe Michael Thomas will be back.
Maybe.
The second round, there are wide receivers coming available in free agency. Pair Michael Thomas with, let's say, a Michael Gallup, and you got some interesting things going on.
All right, I'm up next with Philadelphia, 14.
Yes, you are.
They're third of 3. So earlier we got Derek Stingley, we got DeMarvin Leal, so we're solidifying defense.
And linebacker wasn't available earlier, but maybe it is now.
It is now, but we're not going defense with 3 picks in the first round. It's not like you get 3 first-round picks every year.
You never know.
I'm just saying. You know the guy I like? Arkansas wide receiver, Treylon Burks.
You're going Treylon Burks this high. Ooh. And you go, and wait, hold on. Philly's going with a wide receiver 3 years in a row in the first round.
Hey, we got a big, tough possession receiver here who has great ability when he has the ball in his hands.
Okay.
So we got to compete with Dallas.
All right, well, Garrett Wilson, you're going to stay home in the state of Ohio because Cleveland Browns are up. Cleveland Browns need some wide receiver help. And this is just a match made in heaven, isn't it? Boom.
Oh, I don't like this pick. Oh.
Pittsburgh Steelers. And you're going to pick one of 3 players. It's happening. It is happening.
Oh.
It's one of 3 players. You know it.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted to look at offensive line for this pick.
But you're not.
Because is it possible that Pittsburgh rolls with some combination of Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins? And
That is gross, and you know it.
I know.
You know what you're taking. You just don't want to.
I don't want to. I'd feel much better if Matt Corral and or Sam Howell had fallen this far.
But they did not.
But now we're in that dangerous territory where we have to reach for a quarterback. And I say reach because
We got some reaching happening.
I don't think
Trust me.
any of these three guys are in any other draft would be drafted in the middle of the first rounds. Especially not last year. All right.
Oh, technically it's 4 guys.
Just like Carolina fans were clamoring for Sam Howell, Steeler fans were clamoring for Kenny Pickett.
But they ain't gonna get Kenny Pickett.
You sure?
Okay.
You sure? We're gonna answer that call. We're going Kenny Pickett.
Oh wow.
I know.
You going the guy with the small hands.
Hey. Based on his ability, that hand size doesn't matter, so it shouldn't matter. It has not been an issue yet, and he's been playing in Pittsburgh for 5 years.
Well, Denver thanks you, and they'll say, Desmond Ridder, you can come right over. Boom.
Desmond
Now you're
Ridder.
Raiders.
Wow. I was not expecting Desmond Ridder in the first round, but there goes John Elway. All right.
Strong arm guy, big strong arm guy. Come on now, that's right up Denver's alley.
Oh, strong arm should go with Carson Strong.
Now, no, Desmond Ridder at the moment is a better prospect.
Alrighty, so we have the Las Vegas Raiders up next. Definitely without John Gruden, probably without Mike Mayock. Well, we don't know that for sure. It's wishful thinking at this point for me.
I know what I'd get for him.
All right.
There's a glaring weakness on this team. Glaring.
There's a lot.
It's on offense, believe it or not.
I know. Well, I'm looking at two pieces. I'm looking at offensive line, and I'm looking at wide receiver.
Exactly. Those are the 2 glaring weaknesses.
Yeah. You were thinking Alex Leatherwood's been playing more guard recently, so that means offensive tackle has become a priority once again.
It's been very bad.
And man, if I want to keep my quarterback upright and give him time to throw, I got to protect him. So,
But at the same time, they've been missing Rodney Hudson at that center spot.
I know. 18 is not too early for a center.
It is not.
It is not. Yes, Tyler Linderbaum. Give me some of him.
You going Tyler?
Let's go Tyler.
Tyler Lindenbaum. There we go. Sean with some fireworks finally. Now here, I've got the Washington football team. We could go corner. The corners haven't been that awesome. The linebacker's been pretty shored up. Defensive line they don't need. There's a particular guy who's been falling though. At the same time, let's be honest. They're going to take what they should take, what they need. It's going to be a reach. I don't care. Malik Willis goes to the Washington football team.
All right.
That's about it. All right.
Hey,
We're up next.
Malik Willis has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this draft class.
And then the lowest floor.
At the same time, he's got the lowest floor. That athleticism, that arm, man.
Unlike whatchamacallit, unlike Dwayne Haskins, he can run.
Oh!
All right, next up, you have the Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're thinking on defense, we're doing pretty good on offense. defense, we need a long-term option opposite of Joey Bosa.
Ooh.
But then we can't ignore offense because Mike Williams is in a contract year, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the money to sign him. So I'm actually going there. I think this is a point where we can get better at defensive tackle, and we really shouldn't pass up that opportunity because he is going to crush the run game. He's going to anchor our run defense. We're going Jordan Davis, Georgia.
Ooh, Jordan Davis. His slide finally stops. So I got Miami up. Miami could go edge. I'm not going edge with Miami. I'm going to give to another guy he might be familiar with. This is a guy rising up draft boards. Got good size, got insane speed. You know, you got Jalen Waddle on one side. All of a sudden, we get Jameson Williams on the other.
The Miami Roll Tide.
Next up, we got Buffalo. You already gave away Tyler Linderbaum.
Mm-hmm.
And I did Kenyon Green, so
You did. And Kwanu was gone. We do need help on the interior offensive line.
yes.
Josh Allen does need more than Stephon Diggs. So if I'm looking at my wide receivers right now, I don't think, I mean, they're good options, but if I have somebody who can play on the interior, like a Darian Kennard, I gotta lock him up. I gotta get him.
Darren Kennard, offensive lineman out of Kentucky.
Yes, I should have said that. My bad.
No worries, I got you.
Yeah.
Now I've got the worst pick idea of the draft.
The worst
We got
idea.
The Detroit Lions. I just don't want to pick for them.
And you got them twice today.
The first one was easy. Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
They do need some help on offense, but the defense is a mess. Between the two guys that are available, I'm going to go with the more experienced guy. I'm going to give him Sauce. Ahmad Sauce Gardner goes to the Detroit Lions.
Cincinnati
And
thanks you.
There is a glaring person available for Cincinnati.
That's
right
why I
now.
said Cincinnati thanks you, because as much as we wanted to keep Sauce Gardner in state and address our secondary, if you let Andrew Booth slip to us, we're okay with that.
Taking that Andrew Booth, huh?
Yeah, we got him.
All right. My Dallas Cowboys are up. There's two spots I'm looking at for the Cowboys. I'm not sure you know which positions I'm thinking of.
Oh, I'm going to guess safety.
No.
Ooh, cornerback.
No.
After Anthony Brown? Oh, man, you better be looking at cornerback. Defensive
Not
tackle.
looking at cornerback because Kelvin Joseph has been injured most of the year. Now, note, if Sauce or Andrew Booth, I would have had to consider it. My problem is one of the positions I want to look at is a guy who's got very similar stuff to a guy that we took before, and I don't feel good about it. So it's edge and wide receiver, believe it or not, is what I'm looking at. And the guy we took before is David. No, the guy we took before is Taco Charlton. One of the guys I'm looking at is David Ajabo out of Michigan. And I know they're not the same guy. And I know Michigan has been doing stuff, but I've been burned by Michigan defenders before. So I don't know if I trust it. Majay, it's a little early to take Majay. So I'm not sure I want to go that route. Yes, safety Daxton Hill's there, but I think we can re-sign Jaron Curse. So then it comes to wide receiver. Can we re-sign Michael Gallup? We've seen from the last couple games, we can't trust the guys behind them. So now it's which wide receiver do I like more? Both are injured. One's coming off. One's actually getting healthier. But we got Drake London and we got George Pickens. And I'm going to be honest, I like George more than Drake still. I know people have recency bias, but I like George more than Drake. So I'm taking George Pickens.
You do like use some George Pickens.
Next up, are you going to make the pick? Are you going to do the one that I left on the board for the Kansas City Chiefs?
The one? Man.
There's one guy that everyone thinks the Chiefs might be taking.
Ruh-roh.
He's a wide receiver, if you don't know.
What this year has shown me is that we need some help on defense.
I'm going to take the other guy left on the board.
Wide receiver talents. There's plenty that can get into the second rounds. On defense, secondary needs help.
Secondary,
but also the edge.
Their defensive line, their edge is where their biggest issues are. I mean, you could go safety, but I mean they've got some. I mean they need to stop playing Daniel Sorensen.
I know. They can sign me. That's fine. I'll play for the league minimum.
There are some safeties on the board, but edge too.
Yeah. I still think there's some edge talent that can get to the second rounds, but I'm looking a lot at quarterback, and I like Trent Duffy from Washington.
Ooh, he doesn't really fit them, but that'd be interesting.
Hey.
All right, so I'm up with the Tennessee Titans, and there's no corners I like on the board right now, so I wouldn't go corner. And I think they've got some young corners that they like. They're weak at linebacker. The best linebacker still on the board. Devin Lloyd from Utah just makes so much sense. So next up, Tampa Bay.
All right, we've got to keep Tom Brady upright, clean. Offensive line can always use help. And when you have a guy like Charles Cross, who has makings to be a good left tackle in the NFL, you have him falling to the end of the first round. You're like, you know what?
You walking away from Donovan Smith?
I'm not saying I'm walking away from him, but I got to make sure the cupboard's full. And I'm not going to let Charles Cross slide anymore.
All right. Got to remember, they might be losing a wide receiver next year, too. But Cross is on. Speaking of, I now have the New England Patriots on the board. And guess what the New England Patriots need? They need, let's say, edge.
Wide receiver.
Also wide receiver. And Jahan Dotson is pretty much more of the same of what they have. Someone who's not more of the same of what they have and is probably better than a guy they drafted a couple of years back is Drake London. So we're going to give him Drake London out of USC to, hang out with his other buddy from USC. Here we go. Let's go wild.
Let's go. How wild are we getting?
Now we've got Green Bay on the clock. And I probably took somebody that you would have been considering Green
I
Bay
was
just then.
targeting Drake London, so I'm not very happy that you took him.
It's kind of the Green Bay draft, ain't it?
Yeah, all their prospects, everybody they like.
But that being said, there's a bunch of edge prospects on the board.
I know. You got edge, you got some linebackers. Like right now, I'm thinking, okay, Jermaine Johnson, Florida State, Kingsley Enagbare, South Carolina, Drake Johnson, USC, Nakobe Dean, Georgia.
Then you got Michigan guy, David
Ajabo.
You got Maja Sanders.
We got a lot of talent there.
Christian Harris. I mean, you got one of them Penn State freaks, Brandon Smith.
Speaking of Penn State, we also have Jahan Dotson there because we don't know what's happening with Devon Adams and Jordan Love will be targets. But in my dream scenario, Aaron Rodgers stays, Devontae Adams stays.
And you draft Drake London.
I draft Drake London. Zadarius Thomas and Preston Smith both take pay cuts so they can stay with the team. Everybody comes back healthy.
That doesn't happen.
I know. But let me dream.
But all right, so who's your pick?
Alrighty. Nakobe Dean, Georgia. Guy is skilled at rushing the passer, playing in coverage like a missile.
All right, now we got the Baltimore Ravens up. And the Baltimore Ravens can't help it. This dude is literally a Ravens type dude. David Ajabo. Come on down. And that's out of Michigan, edge. So
brings me to 32, the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see. We could use edge. There's not a lot off the board. We could use some secondary help. We could use some offensive line help. Defensive line help. Let's see. We have, I think, all of our running backs, at least the top ones, on expiring deals. Alrighty. Let's see. Who do we got available? Let's see. We already named off the edge people. Secondary for the cornerback, we have Roger McCreary, who I think might be the only other cornerback to go in round one. Offensive line, we've got Sean Ryan, Jackson Kirkland, Trevor Penning. All the interior good guys are taken. I keep coming back to edge, and a guy who I've liked more and more as the season's progressed, Jermaine Johnson from Florida State.
Jermaine Johnson.
Yep.
There we go. Boom.
Another one in the books.
The mock draft for this month, people. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have a problem with your picks, just reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter, the Cat Daddy. Just let him know all your complaints. If you don't like where your team was picking, don't blame us. Go blame how your team is doing. That's why they're picking there. John, any thoughts on the mock?
A lot of defense went, and I think a lot of defense went early because this last draft we saw the first defensive player was J.C. Horn off the board at number 8. And in our mock draft here, by the time the number 8 pick came around, we had 4 defensive players off the board already, and then the 8th pick was the 5th defensive player. So if your team needs defense, if your team needs defense, especially an edge rusher, you want to be drafting early. You're hoping your team does bad.